Hello and welcome back to the 10-minute teach, first one of 2021, week one. And as we're looking as usual with me at collaboration and how to make the best of all of your collaborations, I thought the main thing we should start with this year was communication. How do you communicate? So over the next 4 weeks, I'll be helping you to understand how to create a clear, clean communication with those that you want to collaborate with. And as always, if you can learn it for collaboration, it does not come in handy with other things as well, like with your partner perhaps, or your family, or maybe even colleagues that you're currently working with. Understanding how to communicate, how to communicate clearly, enunciate would be a good start. So, as always, we look at ourselves first and foremost. What are we currently doing? Because you cannot improve unless you understand where your starting place is coming from. So, how do others perceive you? Do they see you as maybe a bit of a bossy boots? Who, me, you say? Couldn't possibly be. Or maybe you're seen as a bit of a wimp in the other direction. Oh, like she's a bit of a pushover. We can get her to do anything we want her to do. Well, if you're collaborating, either of those extremes are not going to serve you. And in fact, that's not what you are. That's not who you are. But how you communicate might come across as that. You know, the bossy, well, I think we should do it this way. Don't you think? I think that's a really good idea. Let's do it this way. We'll do it my way. Come on. You know, people might be offended by that. Half of communication is not what you do. It's how people perceive it. So if somebody has an issue with somebody being dominant, then your slight, oh, I think that's a good idea, might come across as dominant. It's being aware of how you're being perceived. So having clean, clear communication will make a difference to how they perceive you. The same with, if you, oh, yes, okay, I don't mind, that's fine. If you say that too often, people will kind of make the assumption that, oh, she doesn't mind, I'll get this past her and then we'll carry on doing it my way. Which isn't actually what you're saying. You're trying to be amenable, you're trying to be collaborative, you're trying to be open, but how does it come across in your communication? Are you explaining yourself more clearly? And of course, communication isn't just in the words that we say. It's also very much in how we are being. And we say we need to be collaboration. We need to be in a space of love and connection and abundance. We say this again and again, but how do you do that as you communicate that? How do you communicate being love and connection and abundance? So the communication that we're looking for is how you respond, how your energy is. It's not just about what you say, it's how you look, how you appear, who you are being, and the energy that you're giving off. Even down to your physical appearance. Excuse me. If it is your way of being to be casual, then be casual in a consistent way. Because if one day you're turning up relatively professionally dressed and you're smart and you've had a shave and that's just for the girls, and you've cut your hair, or you're wearing your best outfit, you may be in a suit even in, you know, these times where we're always on camera, it's a good occasion to suit up. And then the next day you're looking rather disheveled, like you've just jumped out of bed. It confuses people. So who are you being? Are you being confident? Are you being outgoing? Are you being positive? You know, are you being good energy? So sometimes that energy doesn't come across if you haven't had a shave. If you're wearing that t-shirt for the third meeting in a row, you might think nobody notices, but there will be people out there that do. So understand the energy that you are giving is who you are being. Now, we say in Collaboration Global that, yeah, you're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to, you know, oh, this has gone wrong and that's gone wrong, and you know, turn up with no makeup on occasionally. You know, that's fine, because in our community, we can share that kind of stuff. But if you're going to see a prospect, or you're in a meeting, say a networking meeting, and you don't know these people, then put your best foot forward, because that is communicating to them who you are. You're a professional, you're good at what you do, and you are communicating to them that you are eager to be part of who they are and what they're about. Are they going to challenge, or are they going to choose the person that's sitting in the back of the seat like this? Or worse still, one of my favourites, if you're in a networking meeting, why would you turn your camera off? Oh, I haven't had my breakfast yet, or I'm just eating, excuse me. That doesn't feel very organised. That doesn't feel very willing to be part of what's going on. So really try, unless you've been given permission. If you've been to a Zoom meeting all day long, I have been one of those, and then they give you permission to say, well, it's the lunch break now, you're welcome to turn your camera off and go and have your lunch, or please come back and, I will still be listening to what people are saying on the call, but I will turn my camera off. Try and have a photo, if you can, of yourself so people can remember who was sitting in that seat. But don't turn it off just because, I'm not in the mood to be on here. And again, in Collaboration Global, it's a different space. But if you're out to network, if you're out to be with people who might want to collaborate with you, you have to put your best foot forward at all times. And of course, the other thing which goes with the blank screen, if you're turning your camera off, is to be listening, to be seen to be listening. And even if you are, God willing, get to be face to somebody, especially at a networking event, don't look over their shoulder looking for the next person to talk to. Make sure that you are paying attention. I've heard this said of Richard Branson and many others, I think Tom Hanks and various other people, that when he talks to you as though you're the only person in the room. How wonderful is that, to feel listened to? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and use it in that proportion. We loved to be listened to. It makes us feel valued. It makes us feel seen. So if you're on a Skype call, Skype or Zoom or whatever, and you're listening, quite lean in, listen a bit more. It really makes you feel a little bit special when you see people doing that for you. And they're like, oh, wow, fascinating. It's coming into that space of being heard. So the communication is reciprocated. You cannot talk into, although I am at the moment, I'm talking to my members, but you can't talk into an abyss of nothingness and expect to feel valued. That's why whenever you see a 10-minute teach, if you put comments underneath, it makes the person that's giving the 10-minute teach feel heard, feel their time is worthwhile, feel they are being valued. That's the communication. It's harder online. We have to make a bit more of an effort to put those little comments down, or even at the very least, a little heart to say, I listened, I heard this, thank you. And if you disagree, that's great too, because it creates dialogue. And disagreeing can be done in a certain way where people don't get offended. And again, half the time people get offended, it's to do with where they're coming from and not with what you're saying. But we have to be aware, if we're looking at ourselves, how do I say things? How am I coming across? Ask people. Because if more than one person says, oh, actually, you can be a bit sarcastic, you can be a bit sharp, you can be a bit blunt, you can guarantee that's what's happening. So if you do not want to appear blunt or sarcastic or a bit sharp, then you have to consider, wow, how am I actually coming across? So part of the PDF today is to idealize how you would like to come across, and then be honest with yourself and ask people and find out how you actually come across at the moment. I know personally that people can call me a little bit bossy, shock, horror, and some people can call me a bit of a walkover, depending on how I come across to them at that time. I can assure you I am neither, and that is not the impression that I'm looking to create. So when I'm looking to be with people who do not know me at all, I'm on my best behaviour. I slow down how I talk. You guys know that I gabble. You guys know that I talk quite quickly, and you kind of get used to that because I'm enthusiastic and I can't help myself sometimes, and it comes out really, really fast. But when I'm talking to somebody new who hasn't got a clue, I can slow it right down so they can hear me. They have opportunity to respond. I'm not bulldozing them into believing what I believe, although I really want to sometimes. And I can help them to hear what I'm saying and for the communication to truly land. Because just talking at someone isn't communicating, it's how it lands, and then you know you've nailed it and that you can collaborate beautifully. So over the next 3 weeks, I'll be delving Can't speak straight today. I'll be delving even deeper into what it means to communicate clearly and efficiently, how to build rapport, and how to have great communication for a really good collaboration. I'll see you next time. Take care.